So, just because you have a sensory experience, that does not mean that it's real. It just means that you have a sensory experience. There is no you, there is no body. And what I would like to talk about today is a little bit about how complicated it actually is to talk about non-dualism. So apparently you have a body. Apparently you're you, and apparently you have a body, and this body is, biological, biochemical, endocrinological manifestation in a material world of time and decay. Cells decay. And apparently your mind is created as a result of the sensory perception and experience that the body has. You're in the world and you smell and you taste and you feel and you see and you hear, and all that sensory information goes to the brain, and the brain perceives it and then decides, what does that mean? Is it a strawberry? Is it a bicycle? Is it and then it forms an opinion about it. And in that, our personality or our sense of self is created. That's where all the information is bundled up together and kind of creates a perception of someone that believes itself to exist. And that is what you call you. But neither are actually reality. It's an illusion that has created an illusion on top of an illusion. And the danger about talking about non-duality is that very often it just boils down to an exchange of concepts. So if the someone believing itself to exist is sitting and listening right now and is grasping at that information, a shift in attention is going to happen from the egotistical striving for money and prestige and physical material existence, and taking that concept and going like, I want to become more spiritual. So instead of striving for money, now I'm striving for oneness. Now I'm striving for spiritual connectedness. Now I'm striving for peace and calm and feeling connected with everything. So the striving is the same. The starting point is the same. Someone that believes itself to exist is living in a dual world and therefore can only find a dual understanding when we talk about non-duality. So it goes from striving from having a nice car to meditating for 2 hours. And then the comparisons also kick in, with comparing oneself and my car and my body. That comparison has just been exchanged with the comparison of my level of awareness of how good a meditator I am and how much seeking I actually have achieved, how much I have achieved through my seeking. So it's exactly the same. And the problem is that the someone that believes itself to exist rarely see that it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. And that makes it super complicated because, for example, I really enjoy meditating. And I know it's not popular in the non-dual world admitting that I actually enjoy meditating, but I really do. I enjoy the quiet and I enjoy the calm and I enjoy the sitting I'm not doing it for anything, though. And that's where the ego can't understand it anymore, because the ego, or the someone that believes itself to exist, is tied into the body and believes that, well, the more I work, the more money I earned, which means that the more I meditate, the more wholesome and connected to the oneness I'm gonna get. But that's just taking a dual concept, using fancy words and calling it non-duality. So I meditate because I enjoy it. And if you meditate because you enjoy it, then meditate for that. So it's not for any achievement. It's just for the sake of it. If you're sitting and watching clouds, or watching raindrops on grass, or watching a doggy play, or snowflakes fall, it's the same presence. It's the same being with what is. And it's not limited to a word like meditation. It's just the being. And to me, when I say that I enjoy meditation, it's I enjoy the just sitting. It's just sitting and being. And if you enjoy that too, then you can do that. But don't do it in order to achieve anything, because if you do that, then you have minimized what it actually is, what this actually is. So the ego has the tendency to take one thing that it doesn't deem as good and exchange it with another thing that it deems as good, but both are exactly the same. So the ego might pass the judgment saying that, well, it's much better now when I meditate, and now when I'm much more spiritual, and I'm thinking about, other people than myself, and my life is so much better. I understand why you might perceive it like that, but I really doubt that it is, because the foundation is unchanged. The foundation is still with a deep-seated belief that you're not okay as the person that you are, and that you need to be different. And that's one of the dangers about it. And I am aware that I'm using the word you and me, and I'm also aware that there is no you, there is no me. There just is. The reason why I'm using those terms is to talk about this part that rarely is talked about. So the starting point is the same. Both are created with illusions, and nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. The other danger with teaching non-duality is obviously that teaching is dualistic. There's something you don't know. There's a teacher that knows. Then you are receiving the teaching. Then you learn, and then you know too. So it works great with German and Spanish. It works with geography. It works with history. It works with all of that. But non-duality is not like that. The physical experience, or the manifested experience of being separated from something larger than ourselves, being separated from God or the world or the universe or whatever you want to call it, the someone that believes itself to exist is seeking to become whole again, seeking to be connected again, seeking to find calm and being present. So we are seeking dualistically outside of ourselves and trying to make this apparent biological meat suit better and fitter and more clever and more meditative and more spiritual, and trying to make ourselves better versions of ourselves, and trying to achieve the calm and the presence. Looking for the right partner, looking for the right body, looking for the right job, chasing acknowledgement, fame, or fortune, or whatever. So we're seeking outside of ourselves to become something else than what we actually are. And that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen because you are already whole. That seeking to be without separation is not going to lead you anywhere because you're seeking dualistically. I am not a should be. I feel scattered. I want to be whole. So that's like the dualistic seeking. Where in non-dualism, you realize that you are. First of all, you realize there is no you. Someone that believes itself to exist and are defining itself as you is an illusion. That someone believing itself to exist, defining itself as you, is connected to, or has latched on to a physical body, a biological body, becoming a biological being. That's an illusion too. Just because you have sensory experiences through a biological body that exists in time does not mean all of a sudden the you exists in time. There is no you. And if you really, really look at it, I'm going to make another podcast about that. If you really, really look at it, the body doesn't exist either. So everything is just an illusion. And we seek and we hunt and we try to find that perfect teaching that can make us whole. And I'm really telling you, you are already. You are already behind all of it. And there is no behind. I'm using a word and I'm minimizing it when I'm using that word. But behind it all, there is calm. And I know also that you're taught that there is no way for you to find it. And it's completely true because there is no you and there's nothing to find. But becoming aware of everything being an illusion, becoming aware that whatever you think is important when you're scrolling on Facebook, none of that is real. Becoming aware of that is getting you closer to seeing through the illusion. And the only way you can truly see through the illusion is to understand that there's nothing wrong with identifying with the physical body, even though it's just an illusion. There's nothing wrong with believing in a biological body. There's nothing wrong with that. And I feel that often people that don't really understand, they really try to understand non-dualistic teachings, and they're not teachings and all of that, but they really try to understand non-dualism and they feel that they don't get any step further. I think it's a pity because they're way too harsh on themselves. They're way too harsh on themselves. It's like if you've been told your entire life that you're not worth anything, then at some point you believe it. And if you've been told that you're amazing, then at some point you believe it. Because that's how neurons work. It's how it becomes part of our psychology. And yes, the neurons doesn't work, and yes, you don't exist, and psychology doesn't exist. I completely understand. Nevertheless, it's where a lot of us are living and suffering. And I find it unkind not to meet the suffering at that level. So it's one of the things I would like with the podcast and with the videos. I will keep insisting that none of it is real. And I will keep insisting that whatever you perceive as reality is only created by you. And you're the only one perceiving it. And if you say, well, she said so and so and it made me really, really angry, I'm going to keep insisting that the ears sit on you, you hear with whatever reference you have from the past, and you create a story. What was said was not said. What you heard was not anything that was said, and it was not what you heard. It's a story that is created completely in comparison with sitting with your eyes closed, smelling a strawberry, and you can, with your eyes closed, imagine how that strawberry looked. You can imagine how that strawberry tastes. So even though it might seem as one thing, that does not make it real, and it does not make it true. It's just a perception. And that constant, the first thing I would like to, and what I would like to say to you with this one, is that constant seeking that you have, please be kind towards yourself, because a lot of us seek because we don't enjoy what we already have and what we already are. We want something else. Please be kind towards yourself regarding that. And if you don't understand it, it's completely fine. It's completely fine. It's completely fine. And that you get angry, it's completely fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. And the seeking cannot stop because the seeker seeks. It's the job of the seeker, just like the job of the eyes is to see and the job of the nose is to smell. The job of the seeker is to seek, and the seeker, therefore, can never find. So just be. Figure out how you can have an experience of the illusion dissolving. Is that when you play football? Is that when you go for a run or sit and meditate or smell a flower or hug your kid? Whenever you have, it might only be a glimpse of a second of a perception of it all falling away, and there's just being, and there's just connection and presence, and everything happens at the same time, and no time has passed because time doesn't exist. That completely belonging and being a part of whatever short period of your day where you feel that illusion falling away, burst into laughter, So be kind towards yourself. I really wish you to be kind towards yourself, because there's no you. There just is. And that already is presence and connection.